that they are culturally honored, and I'm realizing how little I really know about their personal culture. So I see the teacher conference as kind of a way to gain some knowledge about that. And you know, like I took a trip to, because I've been wanting to do that, I took a trip to Guatemala. And what I discovered is I learned a lot about the Guatemalan culture, but these are families who have been in the United States for a long time. So, you know, I'm learning these histories and things like that, but who knows how much of that they are really doing, or how much of that they even know. You know, if somebody came to the United States and was learning the history of immigration and stuff, and then thought, oh, I'm going to do something immigratory with Rachel, you know, I'd be like, what are you talking about? That is not my experience, you know. So I really want to know the truth of their experience. What is their dinner times like? What is their interaction with their children like, you know? Real life for them. So I understand their family culture, not Guatemalan culture, Caucasian culture, Hispanic culture, you know, but really what's, like they were talking about, what's really important to the parents. Is education the most important thing? Is it important that their child is sitting and listening to the teacher? Or is it more important that their child knows how to be able to communicate their needs? You know, is it advocate or sit and listen? You know, those are kind of two opposite sides. And what's important for that parent and their family? You know, those kinds of things.
Do you have any ideas of how you would begin?
No.
Finding that out?
Not really. I know there's some, they handed out some things that where they were talking about, it was like a little paper that they gave us at the training that says like, my teacher wants to know kind of page. And some of those though were more about like sleeping habits and some things like that. Not really personal cultural things though, or what's important.
And certainly you could create that without getting that from, you know, a generic form like that, or it's used for something else. Maybe those questions you can get on paper, and then with support to ask those parents to fill those out, or have somebody translate so that they can give you that information.
Yeah, I was thinking probably
Sort of
do
a
something
survey.
I would do at the teacher conference, because then I'm going to have my translator there.
Okay, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And
When
then,
I need to do it.
okay, and so then when you get that information, maybe it's going to look like this parent would like some one-on-one with you, discussion about their culture, or maybe another parent might want to bring something to the classroom to share as classroom participation, or maybe another one would want to do a presentation at one of your family nights, or an activity at one of your family nights. I mean, those are some things that you could consider, and then it would be their choice too. So
I like that idea when you said that they might be able to come in and do something at family night. I really like that idea of adding that onto there, of what kinds of hobbies or what kinds of things are you good at, cooking, or you know, do you know how to knit or drawing or things like that, that they might be able to offer to enrich a family night.
okay, yeah, those are all great ideas. So do you feel like you're ready then to work on the professional development plan and get some of those ideas down on here? And you know,
make it into a goal.
Yeah, make it into a goal, and you know, keeping it reasonable too, as far as your time. So let me give you a copy of the plan here. Let's see if there's something else. Oh, then I already gave you the SMART goals
Yes.
to refer to. Sure, I have mine here too. So I filled out the top part. And the next box where it says culture related to professional development or change. What in your mind, what is your culture about professional development?
What's my culture about professional development? I don't think
What
I
is-
understand what they mean by culture there.
What does professional development mean to you?
Okay, okay. So kind of like the understanding or,
How do you,
Okay.
okay, and how do you feel about professional development?
okay, I actually am really excited about professional development things because I am one of those people who always jumps into self-help books and things like that because I want to be a changing person. I want to be a growing person, and there is always something new to learn. So I really see professional development as being a very positive thing about personal growth, and I get really excited about learning something new and trying something new because it also keeps me out of being in a rut. Whenever I'm in a rut, I need to go to some kind of training or something, right? Learn something new because then I get a spark again. Oh, I want to try that.
Nice.
And see where that goes. So that's, that really is my feeling around professional development. I think it's important for people to be growing, and I know it's important for me to keep myself out of a rut and keep myself excited about what I do.
Okay, so what I think you're saying is that it's not the same necessarily as change. Well, I should ask
I think it's
you.
a very positive change.
A positive change.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it is change, but it's a positive change, and I see professional development, I guess, because it depends on who's doing it, but I see this as a self-initiated professional development, and that's when I'm excited about it. When it's somebody else saying, you have to learn the 20-step hand washing procedure, I'm not so excited about making that change and going to that training.
Right.
Because it's not something I'm excited about, but I
Right.
really do feel like this is very self-initiated, and so because of that, it's a positive, happy change for me.
Yeah. What you're saying is so clear to me because sometimes when I think of professional development, I feel like, oh, this is exciting, I want to learn something new also. But then I see the word change and I tend to think of something negative, like, oh, I have to change something, I have to relearn something, I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone.
And changing a practice takes so much more time.
All right.
Am I going to have time to do everything I need to do to
Right.
change this practice?
Right.
And my routine is just so easy.
And I'm so glad to hear that you think of change as a positive, which, we're hoping everybody will realize that as they go through this process, that sure, changing or implementing new skills in their classrooms or implementing support and resources for parents that you haven't done before requires change. But it is, the outcomes are positive, yeah. So, okay, thank you for that. And we already talked about the coach and the coachee candidate learning style. We reviewed the analytics and what our strengths and our not so strengths were there. So, and of course I can capture all of this at a later date on paper. But what we really need to focus in on now is what we want to do with the action plan. Okay, so the action plan here is how we're going to get started. How a teacher's going to start whatever those goals she wants to implement or reach in her classroom. And then the implementation plan is more about sustainability, how to keep it going
Okay.
and not losing it. So we'll start with the action plan. And the first one I remember you talking about was just adding finding some different ways to connect with the families. And so, besides what you're doing now, what is it that you want to add?
I think the first thing that we talked about is coming up with some kind of survey, questionnaire, some kind of leading questions that I can ask for the family night.
Okay.
And I feel like I have some ideas about that, but I don't know what kind of resources are out there, because I'm not sure that I know what questions to ask. But if I saw some examples of like cultural questionnaires, maybe is what I need to be looking at, family culture questionnaires, or family priority questionnaires, that maybe I can get some ideas of questions that are resonating with me,
Okay.
and to know what kinds of questions I need to put on there.
Okay, so what questions? And so we'll put that as one. And so this is something you'll be doing to research some family culture questionnaires, something that you can possibly Google.
Yeah, because I feel like it would be helpful for me to see what kinds of questions people are asking,
Okay.
to see what resonates with me. Because as I said, the one that we got had lots of, what are your nap time routines, and that's not really getting to the heart of
Right.
what I'm wanting to know.
Okay. And did you also say that you wanted to know maybe what kinds of cultural activities that they'd like to share at either a family night or in the classroom?
Yeah, well, and I think that might be something I would put on this questionnaire.
Okay.
Is some, I'm gonna write that on the bottom of here, like
Okay.
some kind of, I'm trying to think now, see, there's something else I need to research. What's the words that you use? Because you're like, so tell me, what are you good at? Oh, I'm not good at anything. Well, maybe what do you like to do?
Or
In your free time.
talents. What kind of talents?
See, I think a lot of times people do things like, they crochet all their baby blankets, but they don't see that as a talent,
Mm-hmm.
or they, are cooking for their huge family every single night, and they don't see that as a
Mhm.
talent, That's why I find.
Right.
That's a gift. I'm
It
not a
is.
cook, so as somebody who's not a cook,
I'm not a knitter, am
that
I?
is a gift to
It's
be able
definitely.
to do that,
And maybe you can put that in the
That's something that
question
you
in
can share.
parentheses, with what kind of talents would you like to share with the classroom or family night? And you could put examples: cooking, music. I'm just trying to think of another. Dancing. I want to say tapestry or textiles. Would be like textiles. I guess would kind of cover that whole area. And then you might need to see if you can find for resources translators.
I don't know what to do with translators. We have it for our, we have one translator for our family night, and because she's the assistant in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
And Ivy knows a little bit of Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish, and we really muddle through.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those, we're not going to pay. We're not going to pay somebody to be here, and
I wonder about volunteers.
those kinds of things.
Volunteers, or through the high school or college, they may have a work study program that those volunteers could come in, or parent volunteers possibly. So, about how long do you think this would take?
Well, I'd like to have this questionnaire done by by that first teacher conference. So I want to have that done, that's going to be like November the 6th. I want to have it ready to go for that. That would be my goal, is to have the questionnaire ready for that first teacher conference.
Okay, so this objective, let's put that in words. This objective is specifically
A deeper connection with families. I guess I'm seeing actually a couple different things that I hope to achieve with this, that I want to teach parents how to advocate for their kids. So I want to be able to teach parents some advocacy.
and that might actually be a separate goal. You know, that might be one you want to work on down the road, and this would be your first starting goal.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want to, yeah, because it's about, you know, again, that sitting down during a teacher conference and feeling like I'm just presenting them with the information and not knowing how to get information back from them. Because I'll ask, you know, what goals do you have for your kid? Oh, everything you do is great. So it's like
Right.
start thinking about, you know, how to get them to start thinking about what kinds of things are important to me, and that the school can help teach what's important to me, that can be part of it, you know.
And that's a great goal in
And
itself.
that's where I'd like to get into that connection with families. Yeah, hopefully that's a first baby step into advocacy. And then hopefully with adding a question about what do you think you might be able to share to help parents, to help me learn how to open my doors to welcome parents, and help parents know what can they do to be a part of the classroom.
That seems to fit really well with your questionnaire, just getting that information in that first goal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that is a good
Well, I
first
feel
step
like,
with
yeah.
a deeper connection with families.
I feel
And then
like
you
that's
can
what-
go deeper than that, even with the piece about how you advocate for your children.
Mhm. I'm hoping that that'll open the door, that questionnaire will open the door.
Absolutely. Then strengths associated with this objective. What are some strengths already in place?
I think I already have a pretty good repertoire with the families that we already have the friendly hellos and goodbyes and how are you? So I think they already kind of have some trust. I'm not just kind of a stranger, you know.
And that's a big step.
We have some friendliness, and you know, some of them I feel pretty close with, and others not as much, but at least a friendliness, and that they know I accept them. And
Any others? Any strengths?
you know, I see my strength in this as my really wanting to do it. just having a desire to want to connect with families, I think is a strength.
Yes. Okay. All right, I think we've captured that pretty well. Then areas for improvement associated with this objective.
Things that I need to improve on? Is that what that kind of means?
You know, it could be for the teacher, for the program
maybe some
as a
weaknesses I have
whole.
in this?
Um,
Areas of improvement, translation or language
Okay.
barrier would probably be
mhm.
an area of improvement.
Yes.
And I'm one of those, you know, as my learning style showed on kind of the more